All right, welcome everybody. We're having some technical issues. I blame Luke for not being here. First things first, I am unable to access our actual text chat, but I should be able to see everything that people post. Nobody's posted anything yet, but I guess we'll see. Please do let me know if you're having trouble hearing me. I think the volume's all right, but you never can tell. So I am Charlie Bates, associate producer here at Fantasy Flight Interactive, and I am sitting in for Luke as he's away on a press tour, as I was on Tuesday. If you missed that, it was really exciting, or at least it was for me. So I'm flipping through my paper here to make sure I am doing what Luke wants me to, because God knows you don't want to go off script. Bad things happen. Okay, so what we're going to do today, this will be a little bit shorter today because I don't want to get too far ahead of where Luke wants to go, because of course he wants to make sure to roll out things on a somewhat managed basis so you can really dig into and enjoy what we're up to here. And as always, and I'll probably repeat this as we go through, this is a work in progress, and there will be changes potentially to any aspect of the game that you might see. All right, and there will be, of course, additional press coverage from Luke and or third parties, so stay tuned to social media and various press outlets. So what we're going to do today is take a look at Quest 4, which we have not seen yet. I'm not going to take you all the way through it because Luke doesn't want me to. I would be happy to do it, and I would be very excited about actually surviving, but you know what? That's going to have to wait for another time. So, first things first, we, of course, the menu, as you're probably used to at this point. All right, we will go into our quest selection. Quest 3, as you may have noticed before, I glossed over it myself, and I imagine Luke covered it, but it's always worth revisiting. One of the things I like about this screen is it just gives you a quick heads up of what the quest is about. So if you accidentally click on the wrong one or you forget, which I sometimes do because it defaults to the first quest in a campaign, this will let you know where you're at. So obviously this is the one that we've been looking at a couple of times so far, Lost in Mirkwood, which I was luckily able to escape from on Tuesday. So now we must journey down the Anduin. And it says here, you have found the mighty Anduin, but you must still journey downriver to Grimbeorn. All right, so we've got our quest selected. We can choose from our available decks. I am going to pick the starter deck because that is our default deck for when you create your account, and it sort of gives you an initial feel for how the game is played. I will leave it on normal. We will start at normal difficulty and see how that goes. If my heroes fail quickly enough, we can give it another go, perhaps at easy. Okay, and thanks. Yes, I can see everybody in chat, so success. Let's see if they added the new...
Emerging from Mirkwood Forest, you continue your mission to deliver an urgent message to Grimbeorn.
I don't know if you can hear that.
You make your way south along the Anduin River toward the land of the Beornings. As you approach the location of a small raft stashed on the riverbank, a fearsome hill troll emerges from behind a grouping of rocks and attacks.
So in case you couldn't hear that, we did just get updated audio narration. So we've made it through Mirkwood, but we have not completed our mission yet. We still have to find Grimbeorn. So we're going to grab this raft and go down river, but before we do, there's a troll in the way. And trolls are no fun, so let's see what happens here. All right. So gameplay starts like the beginning of each location. You have your card selection here. I'm going to try and slow down a little bit. I think I went through a little quickly last time just because I'm so used to playing that particular quest. This one's a little newer for me, but also, of course, probably helps you, the viewers. And whenever I'm pausing like that, it's because I'm looking at a different window to see what's going on here. So, multitasking. Okay. So, let's see. I am pleased to have a warrior sword here. Sneak attack, everybody's favorite. Feint is also tremendously useful, I've found. I'm tempted to get rid of Gandalf. He's useful, but because he costs so much, it's sometimes a challenge to have him fill up your card hand. Oh, one thing to note, you'll see we're trying out a different font here for the cards. It's a little easier to read. Everything is being adjusted, of course. We'll make sure it fits in the card fields better. But it's much easier for me to now see what each of these is described as saying. So let's see. We'll get rid of that so it's not distracting us. I am going to get rid of Gandalf. It's probably a bad idea, but what the heck. There you go. It actually worked out. Oh, Sauron. So what Sauron did right off the bat was spook our horses, so we have lost our starting resources. Yeah, that's not great. So that very much limits my options. Oh, man. Okay, well, first things first. Let's go across and see what Sauron's got going on here. So this is what we want to try and accomplish here. We want to find the raft. However, this has the guarded keyword, and it specifies hill troll. So the guarded keyword is basically that there is an enemy there that you have to defeat. It's sort of the objective version of Sentinel. In this case, it's specifically the hill troll. So you have to get rid of the hill troll before you can move on from this location. In addition, there are some orcs who have Sentinels, so you have to get rid of them before you can get to our buddy the hill troll here, who's just big and beefy, doesn't do anything else other than be tough. And there is another objective here, which is basically the horses were spooked, so if you rescue them, then you get your 2 resources back. So depending on whether we want to just try and blast on through, if we can, or try and regather our resources, that's a choice to make as we go through this. All right. So, let's see. Man, I think what I'm going to do is play Guard of the Citadel just to draw their fire and see what happens. Okay, so one of the changes that we just made actually since Tuesday is previously the player went after Sauron in every phase of the round. What has been changed now is that Sauron only goes first in the planning phase. So at the top of the round, during upkeep, you will get your resources and draw your cards and do any upkeep steps before Sauron goes. And then during planning, Sauron goes first, and then once you hit the adventure phase, you go first again. So we're going to try this out and see how it works, see if it gives the players an opportunity to be a little more proactive against Sauron. Okay, so let's see. Hang on just a second. I have to adjust this window here, if I can grab it, which it doesn't want me to do. Hey, there we go. All right. So, well, first things first, we got to get rid of this Sentinel. So I am going to smack him. All right. And we have to get rid of the Sentinel before we can engage either of these objectives. So there really is no other option than to get rid of that guy.
For Rivendell!
And I think I need to get my resources back. All right. So not the beginning that I would have preferred, but that may help. getting an archer out there. Oh, jeez. Really? More sentinels. So the troll, and this is something you may have noticed, some of the player cards are this way, obviously some of the enemy cards as well. Sometimes the character simply does not have any additional text. This is just the way it works sometimes. He still obviously has his attack and health ratings and his trait, which may come into play on certain things. These guys, of course, Veteran Patrol, Sentinel. And the Mirkwood Flock has appeared, which gives Sauron additional resources when the Mirkwood Flock is defeated. I at least finally got a regular amount of resources at the start of this round, I should say. Let's see. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to give a shout out to our QA guy, Sean. We may want to bug Aragorn here with his number being stacked like that. Work in progress. So, let's see. I am going to give Aragorn a sword. And I'm guessing you guys probably want me to play sneak attack. Because we have all of these guys out there, I agree with you. Hey, and we got another guard. Now, the question is, do I want to bring out the archer? And I think not, because I wouldn't be surprised if the troll takes him out right away, takes her out right away. But what I am going to do is exhaust whoever comes out next. All right. So, that being done,
he cannot stand alone.
that at least drew the trolls' attention. I'm tempted to have Arwen attack the Sentinel because he only needs one more to be defeated, and that gets rid of Sentinel. I should say attack the Veteran Patrol. And then I can use Gimli to do other stuff, and I think she can take, one hit for 2. Assuming, of course, she doesn't get attacked by something else, but that's just these guys. Alternately, I can have Gimli do it, and then we can get some more resources back. And in fact, maybe that's the way to go, because I've got a couple other cards here I can play. So let's just be straightforward about it. Okay, so Sauron is passed because he doesn't want to sacrifice his flock, which is interesting because he could get another resource out of it, but whatever, I'll take what I can get.
For Rivendell!
All right. And I can activate Aragorn. So let's think about this. If I activate him, I can knock the troll down to 3, but Aragorn is going to take a bit of a hit there. You know what? Let's give that a shot.
I serve no man.
Okay. And yeah, bear in mind, as I'll probably say too much, this is a work in progress. One of the things we're looking at, besides just the gameplay and the cards, and tweaking the tweaking the how the quests go and the locations and everything. We'll also adjust, for instance, the gameplay timing, like how long a particular effect may go or how quickly a card appears or disappears. We do still need to tweak those things. Our focus primarily is, of course, on making sure everything works right and that it's a fun game to play. And then we want to work on, of course, what we call the polish, which is that kind of timing sequence, things of that nature. All right. So just to recap what happened here, you can see that Sauron just played Devoured, which destroyed a random attachment on a hero, which destroyed the sword that Aragorn had equipped, which is more than a little frustrating, but you know what? That's the way it goes sometimes. Okay, so now I will play
You breed so
this
well, I'll
archer
shoot you in the dark.
to knock the troll down to 2, so 1 hit from somebody should take him out. And then I think I'll bring my other archer out as well. What I've seen sometimes happens with Sauron is if you only have 1 archer out, he makes a point to get rid of them, because ranged is pretty handy. But if you have more than 1 out, at least if you lose 1, you still got another. I am going to not... Well, if I play Feint... Yeah, I might actually do that because the troll does 3, and we're already a little bit beat up, and we're only on the first location. As much as I like to save Feint against a 3 attack, it's probably a good choice. So this makes it much easier to get through. Now, so we'll
He cannot stand alone.
just do that. And as you see, they make a point to go after the ranged. Okay. On the plus side,
Rivendell!
we... Oh, crap. Forgot about that. Used all my resources. But now the objective is only down to 2, so bear in mind this was guarded, so the hill troll is now gone. So as soon as I resolve this, I can move on to the next location. Let's see. We're going to give this to Aragorn. There's a question about card backs. We'll have a few different options. This is the default one for the game. We potentially will have other ones available. Well, I know we'll have other ones available. I'll leave that to Luke to talk about what those plans are in the future. Okay, so this is again where you have to make a choice. These guys are very similar. They have the same attack, but the lookout has 2 willpower and 3 health, whereas the veteran has 1 willpower and 4 health. I'm thinking that I might need somebody who's a bit beefier. So we'll bring him out. And that takes care of that. These guys probably have pursuit. Yes, they do. Oh, and they get healthier as the rounds go on. So, much as I would like to just run away from these guys, I can't. They'll basically jump in the water and swim after us and continue to be a pain because they'll get tougher and tougher if I don't get rid of them right away. On the plus side, it is exhausted. So I can start out with that to soften them up. And we will use this guy. And then, let's see. Gimli's not been doing too much otherwise, so let's use him. Okay. So now,
Rivendell!
we can travel.
Having defeated the troll, you board a raft and float downriver. You barely have time to catch your breath before more enemies emerge along the riverbank in pursuit, harassing the small vessel as you attempt to navigate the river.
So, again, I don't know how clear that audio is. It sounds really great through my headphones, but basic idea here, of course, if you can read as well, you already know what's happening. We got past the troll, and we're trying to take it easy floating downstream, but there's more enemies that are harassing us from shore. So we will have to continue to deal with them. All right. Let us... Okay, so what are we dealing with here? First things first, we simply have to make it down the river. And that is essentially going through the Navigate the River objective. But in the way of that, we have Warg Riders, which have pursuit, and give pursuit to all other orcs, so we can't simply try to outrun them. And then whenever the Marauder attacks, Sauron gains resources. Okay, so that's great. And as if that wasn't enough, we have a Goblin Sniper. This guy is problematic because he has stealth and ranged. So that's what this fog effect is. So we cannot attack him unless, of course, both of these guys are exhausted. So some potent stats here. The 3 attack is never good to see, and this 5 health just makes it require, you know, more than just a couple of hits to get rid of him. I think I do need some more cards. Let's see what my options are. Hey, look at that, another sneak attack. Okay. Well, I am going to use Feint again because I don't like that 3 attack. And then I'm going to bring out... Ah, I think this is the miner, isn't he? I'm not going to click on... Well, actually, I think I can do this. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So he has a power where if you trigger him, you can gain a resource. But then he's exhausted, so you can't use him to attack. Now, considering he's only a 1/1/2 and is not going to do much... And if I get this resource, then I can potentially activate Aragorn again. I'm going to do that. All right. So let's see. I am going to start with this guy because he'll probably get killed off in a second. Ah, you jerk. So Sauron is wily. I was kind of hoping that he would go after him because he's only got 1 health left, but it makes sense strategically for him to have killed my archer. But what are you going to do? All right. So now, 3 health left. Well, I guess the obvious thing.
For Rivendell!
And there goes the mine.
Stand alone.
Aragorn has more health, so we're going to do it this way.
He cannot stand alone.
Here's a question. Do I want to get rid of the Marauder or the Sniper? Probably the Sniper, actually, because he does an extra damage. And that stealth is problematic. I know I could just go for the objective, but there's just too many of these guys for me to feel comfortable with, so I want to try and reduce that first. And then, because I can ready him again, I can at least get that down a little bit. Okay, so everybody's getting a little beat up. It happens. All right. I think I will leave the archer there, and I will bring this guy out.
Nothing passes unnoticed.
Okay, and here's where I take advantage of my own sacrifice capability, because he's only got 1 health left. Mine as well. Do that. I had a feeling that might happen. Okay, so the problem is he has Vigilant. I always do that. Vigilant. Vigilant, it's a new keyword. So somebody's going to get beat up, and beat up severely because he's got the 3 attack. Now, I can't quite get through yet.
For Rivendell!
Come on. I guess I didn't.
Rivendell!
There we go. Okay, I was hoping he would do that.
I serve no man.
Now, assuming what I would probably bet is going to happen is Sauron is going to play something that has Sentinel or Pursuit. so that I can't simply run past before they can take an action. But let's see. And he's too expensive to play. All right. Yep. So now what this means, with the Orc Hound coming out, all orcs gain pursuit. These are orcs, so both of these guys are going to come with. I can't simply just run past them, and Gimli is in rough shape. So what I'm going to do is at least get rid of this thing. And yeah, and then we go to the adventure phase. Okay. Now, she's got the most health, so I'm going to try and exhaust him just by doing that. I could have done it the other way around, I guess, and had Aragorn do it and then her shoot him, and so that's a tactical error on my part, but, you know, first time through. And it's really not the end of the world if this thing comes after me, because it's already kind of softened up. So I'm going to
I serve no man.
at least resolve that. And I'm not going to refresh him. Well, let's see. No, because that'll take him down to 2. All right. So now we're at the second location, and Luke does not want me to go through to the third one. So I'm not going to do that. I will instead
He cannot stand alone.
finish them off and end my turn. Okay, so obviously we can go around and around and around on this. This actually, strategically, is not a bad thing because I got out a pretty good ally. Obviously I have no cards in hand, but I can actually try and take advantage of this opportunity to give my guys a little bit of recovery. So, oh yeah, I always forget to do this part. So, for instance, I can do this, and then do that, and everybody's still in pretty good shape. So let's just, out of curiosity, see what happens if I still don't travel. Okay. So now what this allows... Let's give that to Aragorn. Okay, so I can either raise my threat by 1 for each ally, and I have 2 allies, or I can discard an ally. This is one of the ways where threat is important, and because both of my allies are useful, I'm going to choose this one. So you'll note I'm already at 41 threat, and I fail the quest if I reach 50, and I'm only on the second location. So if I was going to continue through with this, then that would be a little bit worrisome. But since I'm not, I'm just going to fill the table with a bunch of guys. And I'll just, because I've got a bunch of them, I'm just going to do one more round of combat for the fun of it. I'm sure Sauron is frustrated with me right now. Yeah. So that is the first 2 locations. We'll back out here. I don't want to quit game. Oh, that's interesting. We used to have a back to main menu. I don't want to actually quit the game, so that's another bug we'll have to look at. I'll try that, see if that works. Hey, look at that. I got the job done. All right. They might have just had a mislabeling bug there for the button. Okay, so let's see. Somebody had asked about the Hound, and I think I should be able to show you. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so again, what this is supposed to do, when you've gone through a quest, what this should show you, this is Sauron's deck, basically. And if you click on it, it should show you the cards that you've encountered previously. So, for instance, oh, I guess Luke might have gone through Adventures in Wilderland, or Conflict at the Carrock before this, not streaming, so surprise, surprise. What I was hoping was that you could see the Orc Hound, but we can do that back in the deck builder. The fun thing about that is that I don't want to do that either. If you hadn't seen this before, basically before you go on a quest, what you can do is just as one final check, you can see what you might be facing, and then from there you can decide which deck, if you have a deck that's tailored particularly well for, you know, given type of enemy or circumstance, you can choose that deck instead. So that's why that's there for you as an extra tool. Now, additionally, you can also look at Sauron's cards here. Now, these, of course, aren't cards you yourself can get, but what it does do is it shows you everything that you've encountered throughout your adventures in Middle-earth. So what I am going to see is if the Orc Hound, here it is. Okay, so someone had asked about this. Why does the Orc Hound gain pursuit if it's not an orc? It is a creature, but you'll see it has a keyword here first. So different cards, of course, can have different keywords. So it's saying the Orc Hound has pursuit, but then it's also pointing out that it also gives any orcs pursuit as well. So then you'd look at the trait here at the bottom, and if it says orc on that card, that orc would gain pursuit as long as the Orc Hound is out. All right. Let's see. Hard mode. You know, sure. I will. Somebody asked if we want to try hard mode. I will show you how hard mode can be. You never know really how things are going to go. If you were watching on Tuesday, I played with 2 different decks, and I was sure I was not going to make it each time, but I actually finished the quest. It wasn't this one, it was quest 3. So you never really know, but I will say that when it's hard, it is hard. Well, let's just go with these. All right, great. So what Sauron just did there is he played Pursuit on the Shore. So deal 1 damage to a random player character in play. Repeat this effect for each enemy in play. It is a slight bug because an objective is not an enemy, so that will be tweaked. So he should have only done 2 damage, but regardless, he beat us up even before anything even happened. Now, as much as I like Mithrandir's advice, I don't think I really need it right now. I am going to feint the troll, and then I will bring out the archer. All right, and you'll notice that Sauron has another resource left because he gets more resource on hard mode. All right.
I serve no man. Loose!
That gets rid of him.
For Rivendell!
Oh, come on.
For
I don't
Rivendell!
always do that. Okay. All right, so the first round actually went fairly well aside from that Pursuit on the Shore card. Someone pointed out that might actually be correct. Repeat for each enemy in play. That's actually a good point. It might be working as designed. I was reading it differently. Sorry, it's just to give context, I'm talking about Pursuit on the Shore. So you deal 1 damage to a random character in play, which it did, and then you repeat it for each enemy in play. So that would be a net of 3. Yeah, that's good. I'm bad at math. So assuming that is how it's supposed to work, that is how it worked. Okay. He always pulls that out. Wow, really? Well, it is hard mode. Okay. Alright, let's go with this to draw fire.
I serve the steward of Gondor.
And actually, you know what? I want to save 1 resource so I can ready Aragorn if I need to. So let's see what other cards come up. Now I'm tempted. In fact, I will do that.
Shoot you, dog.
All right. So let's see. who wants to throw themselves at the troll first? Wow. Well, I think what I'll do, because either one of these can destroy my guard, or defeat, I should say. And I'd rather keep all of these other characters. I am going to have him charge into the troll. Which has the net effect of exhausting the troll as well. So I was hoping that both of my archers would stick around, which didn't quite happen. Well, why not? And as much as I'd like to get rid of the goblin,
For Rivendell!
I don't want to take 3 damage from him.
I serve no man.
Alright. Let's see if there's something else I missed here. Ah, yes, and Sauron started with, he gets 4 resources in hard mode, so he is a pain. Let's see. Okay. Well, the good news is I got my feint, which I am a fan of. I think I'm probably like feint as much as other people like sneak attack. Well, here's the thing. Alright, neither of these guys have pursuit, so now the smart play is just to get the heck out of here. So what I will do is give somebody a shield, and I am going to give the shield to Aragorn. And then
For Rivendell!
well, he may still attack before I go, but what the heck. I should have given her the shield.
Having defeated the troll, you
Okay, so we made that through in hard mode, better than I thought. Everybody's beat up, but not as much as I was worried they would be. I'm just checking some comments here to see if there's... I don't know what's going on over there. All right. Okay. So now, let's see. Really? Wow. Okay. So let's do this plan. We will put him to 0. We will bring out...
My eyes see
somebody else to help with the fighting. And then let's go with...
He cannot stand alone.
6 health. Wow. Yeah, I thought that's what they do. But at least he didn't attack one of my heroes as a result of that. Of course, he does it after I've used Gimli. But I don't think he would have attacked Gimli if I hadn't used him already.
For Rivendell!
Okay. A new round brings us... Advanced warning. Yeah. This is where... Okay, great. So what just happened there... I wonder if this shows up on history. It does not. All right. So you saw the Sauron card back get played. What that means is... Can't see it coming up. Sauron has played a preparation card, and you can see these sockets up here, and this one in red means that he's basically played a preparation card that is ready to go, depending on what I do. And of course, because it's Sauron and it's prep, you don't know what it is. And if we did the same thing on our end, for instance, with this, if I play this, then I will get the socket filled on my side, and then Advanced Warning will be ready to play once Sauron plays another character. I'm not going to do that right now because, well, I might. I wouldn't be surprised if he played something to exhaust one of my characters when I play them. So then I am not going to do that. I'm instead going to give Arwen that, and I'm going to leave that resource so that I can use it for Aragorn if I need to. Okay, so this guy's down to 1. Oh boy. Well.
He cannot stand alone.
That's not good either. All right. So this probably won't go well. We'll see how things end up. 7 health left, so let's...
I serve no man.
I'm going to finish off these guys, even though they're already exhausted. Oof. Well, that was ill-advised. So this is where Sauron, as a good combatant, an opponent, comes into play, because I was leaving Gimli, of course, because he has his stalwart ability, and after he takes damage, he gains +2 attack, because that makes him pretty potent. So I often try to use him last, but Sauron does a really good job of avoiding that whenever he can. So you're sort of, you know, you have to make that choice. Do you want to use Gimli sooner or not? And it's not always, you know, the right choice or the wrong choice. It's just, you know, trying to make those decisions. Anyway, I'm putting off the inevitable here because this guy is still not exhausted. So, yeah, and I'll just play this through because it's not going to go too much longer at this point. There you go. All right. And yes, exhausted characters can be attacked. That works both ways. That's where ranged comes in handy. Just as a for instance.
You breathe so loud I could shoot you in the dark.
Okay, so that's what that preparation card was. I was right that the next ally I played would be exhausted, so she is now exhausted. And we'll just do this to heal Aragorn up a little bit. And now can't do anything else, so we'll do this. That gets rid of them. Can't do anything else. Yeah. And clearly I'm not being quite as strategic on this one as I was on the previous quest walkthrough. Just wanted to show a bit more. The simple fact that Sauron gets one more resource each round makes him much tougher. And the starter deck, at this point in your gameplay, you probably won't just be using the out-of-the-box starter deck anymore, because you can tailor your cards to be a bit more specific to the quests you want to take. So it does make it not quite as useful, although, again, the previous quest that I was doing on normal difficulty, we were doing all right. Let's see. This is less important at this stage. No. I can just drag this out, essentially. And we'll do that. Why not? Okay, so we'll get rid of this guy. That leaves the other guys. There you go. Yeah. So that just triggered. You saw that come up. That was the preparation card I'd had ready to go. So when the wargs came out, that triggered the advance warning, and it exhausted them right off the bat. If I had any hope of surviving, that would have been a nice thing, but this is pretty much the end of it for our hero.
I serve no man.
There you go.
Last hero falls, bringing your
So you may have seen this screen quite a bit when Luke's been going through. I've been lucky enough that this is my first time on. Granted that the 2 times I've been on here. Well, I was on here with Luke before and we survived. So that's the way it goes sometimes in Middle-earth. Okay, and I somehow was able to fill quite a bit of time with that. Let's see. Seeing if there's some particular things I want to talk about. Okay, well, folks are already discussing on their own, so that sounds good. Okay, so as a reminder, you won't have to deal with me for much longer. Luke is back next week. Hopefully he hasn't caught the con crud and falls ill, and then I have to sit in here some more. But otherwise, just to recap, I'm going to go back in here to show you what we just walked through. And I mentioned this on Tuesday. I didn't really cover it as much here, but different quests have sort of different emphasis. Some are more combat-oriented. For instance, Lost in Mirkwood has a actually good balance of objectives and enemies that you have to deal with, so having a well-rounded deck is handy there. Journey Down the Anduin is a bit more combat-heavy, as we can see. But the goal of the quests overall is to provide a variety of experiences. So you're not necessarily throughout the game just going to be beating things up. There will be different quests where it pays to be more sneaky. There's ones where unlocking or resolving objectives can give you certain benefits later on. That's all still being worked out, and there's a wealth of content that we're still developing along those lines. But the basic idea is this isn't meant to just be a beat-em-up kind of thing. All right. And other than that, let's go back to the main menu. There we go. I'm going to do the standard wrap-up of thanking everybody again. Sorry, I'm just reading the discussion about things. I'm not going to show the Palantir. I'm going to leave that to Luke. He basically normally gets to show you all the cool new stuff because that's his job. I got the go-ahead to show you this next quest probably because he wanted me to be the first one to fail at it so that he can show off more when he comes in and actually succeeds. But yeah, come back next Tuesday at 1 for more questing and Luke to share new things. I'm sure he'll have some updates of what's happened over the past week. And in the meantime, you can find us on the standard social media outlets. We are on Twitter at FFI_games at twitter.com. Facebook is facebook.com/FFI games. And of course, here on Twitch, we've got twitch.tv/FFI games. So thanks again. I hope everybody is staying warm and dry. It is both cold and wet here in Wisconsin. So welcome to January. Otherwise, take care, and we will see you soon.